Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Mohammad Abdullah Murad Chaudhary, Senior Lecturer, Department of Agriculture Studies. Today, I'll give you the lecture regarding Agriculture second paper, Chapter-1, Section-1, which is Pisciculture or fish culture. This lecture is belong to class 12. And this chapter you can find on your book page number 5 to 35. In this chapter we talk about fish culture, which is Rajputi fish and Linotica fish. And this chapter is very large, and that is why I split it up in couple of parts. Today is part 1. So first of all, in your second paper books, we discuss our culture method is two fish, which is Rajputi fish and Nilotica fish. Before that, we have to know the scientific name and characteristics of Rajputi fish and Nilotica fish. First, Rajputi fish. Rajputi fish scientific name is Puntias gonionotas, and you have to write down like this and underline in every place, otherwise it won't be get any marks in your final exam. What about the characteristics? This Rajputi fish import from Thailand in 1977. This one called as a Thai Rajputi. This fish looks like as our country shortputi. That is why this one is called Thai shortputi as well. This one looks like silvery and bright silvery white color and not too much long. This one is 150 to 200 gram. After 3 to 4 months later, it can be edible. And this fish can be cultured in less oxygen place, turbid water, and where about 5 to 6 months water can be preserved in that place, and that means it can be cultured in 2 times in the pond. The other thing is Rajputi fish after 3 to 4 months later it can be edible. And now talk about the Nilotica fish. The scientific name of Tilapia nilotica, and this one as well import from Thailand in 1970 in our country, and this one look like grayish bluish on the ventral part and grayish on the body. And this one as well cultivated in less oxygen place, where not too much oxygen you can cultivate in that place, and as well as turbid water. This can be edible after 3 to 4 months, and after 3 to 4 months its weight is 150 to 200 gram. Some of a special characteristic of Nilotica. This Nilotica fish, another name in our country is tilapia. Everybody known as a tilapia fish. And in our country, there is a special characteristics of Nilotica fish is after 3 months later it can be breed. That means it can be capable for breeding after 3 months later. And when the egg of tilapia is fertilized, that time this tilapia stock the egg in his mouth and leave that place. After when hatch the egg, he release the fries from the mouth. This is his 2 important special characteristics. Remember this one for MCQ. What is that? This one capable for breeding after 3 months, and the egg of this fish stuck in his mouth when that one is fertilized. After that, after hatch the egg, they release the fries on the pond. Now come to the culture method. Culture method, first one is land preparation. That means where could be your land. The land should be make sure well drained. That means well sunny place, well ventilation, and free from flood. And make sure the land where all the year or 5 to 6 months water is stocked in that place. This is the land preparation of the Rajputian Nile fish. And make sure 3 to 4 feet deep of water is suitable for Rajputian Nilotica. Next one is pond preparation. If it is new pond, that we don't need to think about aquatic weed control, voracious or predator fish control, wild or harmful animal control. We don't need to think about that. If it is new pond, then everything is fresh. But if it is old pond, then you have to think about this, because you have to refurbish or rebuild the pond for preparation of Rajputian Nilotica. I am explaining the culture method, Rajputian and Nilotica altogether, because the culture method is more or less same. That is why I am talking about the culture method one time, then you can understand that Rajputian Nilotica fish culture. So, if where we are the pond preparation. So, if the pond is old, that you have to refurbish or rebuild the pond. First of all, you have to repair the pond bank. Then you have to control the aquatic weed inside the pond. If there is too much water hyacinth, khudepana, topapana, or some others aquatic weeds, you have to remove that one by hand or by net. It is easy to remove by net, or you can use your hand very easily. Sometimes you might put some potassium permanganate. This will destroy your aquatic weed underneath the water. Next point is voracious or predatory fish. How can you remove voracious or predator fish or wild or harmful animal? Voracious fish, sometimes we eat some voracious fish. If you know the example of voracious fish, which is boal, then shing, magur, this is called voracious fish. But this fish is voracious for Rajputian Nilotica. But as a human being, we eat this fish. So how can you remove this one from the pond? There is 3 ways. One is you can use net, or you can use bait or medicine, or you can empty, or you can dry out the pond, But sometimes it is quite impossible to dry out the pond and refill the pond. That is why, if it is possible, you can do it, or if it is not possible, then leave it. When you dry out the pond, if you leave that underneath the sun about 7 days, that time all type of voracious fish, all type of wild animal will destroy, and the stored gas underneath the soil or underneath the mud, that will be removed. So you can do 2 things: remove voracious or predator fish, wild animal, harmful fish, and remove the gas underneath the soil. So you can dry out the pond. But I told you before, it's quite impossible. Sometimes you will not able to dry out the pond of every pond. Next, net. Because I told you voracious fish, sometimes we eat it, which is boal, shing, magur. So before you remove that one, you can use the net to catch the voracious fish. And if it is excess, you can eat it and you can sell it. And when you use the net, that time you might catch some wild or harmful animal. You might catch some wild or harmful animal. What is wild or harmful animal? That is frog, snake, crab. Frog, snake, crab. This is wild or harmful animals for Rajputi and Nilotica fish. So if you use net, that time you might catch frog, snake and crab. But sometimes these wild animals and some voracious and predator animals hide underneath the mud. So you are not able to catch that type of wild and voracious animal with the help of net. That is why after use net, you can use some bait or medicine. What is that? The medicine is two types. One is rotenone powder and bleaching powder. You can apply rotenone powder. If you apply rotenone powder, after a couple of minutes later, 15 to 20 minutes later, this type voracious or predator, frogs, snakes, wild animals die and floating on the top of the pond. Then you will catch that one and remove from the pond. Same thing when you apply the medicine, rotenone powder or bleaching powder. After that you can catch the frog, snake, crab. It will die and floating on the top of the pond. You can catch them and remove from the pond. Remember that when you apply rotenone powder and bleaching powder, after 2 weeks you will not able to use that pond because the pond water will be toxic due to apply the rotenone powder and bleaching powder. So you have to wait for some times to neutralize the water. So what do you talk about? What do you learn today? For pond preparation, you have to remove aquatic weed, voracious or predator fish, then wild or harmful animal. And example of harmful animal: frog, snake, crab, and voracious and predator fish. Example is boal, shing, and magur. The method or technique to remove this is net, bait, medicine, dry out, etc. So in this lecture part 1, we know about the scientific name, characteristics, then land preparation and pond preparation. Example of some CQ and MCQ question is, some MCQ question is, which year Rajputi fish bring in our country from Thailand, or Nilotica fish in which year Nilotica fish bring or import in our country from Thailand? Answer is 1977, 1970. This is the example. Other example is for knowledge-based question. Which medicine you use for kill the voracious fish or predator fish? Answer is rotenone powder. I'm talking about rotenone powder or bleaching powder. Rotenone powder or bleaching powder. This is the example of MCQ. And CQ example is Mr. Rohim cultivate Rajputi fish in his land, but before he culture the Rajputi fish, he found that his pond is very dirty due to presence of some aquatic weed and some might be present some wild or harmful element and voracious fish. So if the question is like that, the C question is, what is the method to remove the voracious or harmful animal? Then you can write these three types, which is net or bait or medicine or dry out the pond. So today is end of part 1 of chapter 1 section 1, which is Rajpoti and Linetica fish culture. I will take you the next class and continue of this chapter. Thank you very much.